Hey guys, it's Main here, back again with another IE review. Today we have a very special one. Actually, I did review Dennis's account, or I think I did, not too long ago, but this is his other account that he uses in the Discord. So it's going to be very interesting to look into some like early game account, actually. And Dennis, you already know what to do, so I'm not going to really give you advice, but this is more so for everyone else who's progressing the game kind of early, what you should be focusing on or looking forward to. So anyways, let's head into it. But as always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and let's just head straight into it. So where is this account? This account is currently at World 3 at Snowman. So you won't see everything as progressed as the World 6 account, obviously. I mean, stamps are going to be this low. I think this is not terrible. Dennis, I don't know if you are doing any like no stamp left behind or doing anything special with this account, but if you're early game, what I'd always recommend is, as of right now, there's a few mechanics. There's only a few mechanics you can really focus on. Equinox is kind of out of the question as a mechanic because it has a lot of kind of end game oriented stuff. So Equinox is going to be out of the question for you. This account is fully free, not even auto loot, just a normal account, nothing special about it. You're just progressing it like normal. I just want to make sure it's a good comparison for other people who are playing the game. But yeah, I mean, if you're at this point in the game, I honestly would use a lot of your resources trying to upgrade stamps. Base damage this early is going to be huge for your account, so trying to get as much base damage as you can. At this point in the game, you're struggling for money. Money is a huge issue. So honestly, it's a few things you could do about that, just kind of progressively pushing the world. The higher level monsters you kill, the more money you're going to get. But if you're really, really desperate for money, I know selling sticks from the World 1 monster in the tree actually gives you a decent amount of money. You can go back, try to farm this out. The sticks give you decent money if you're struggling. Especially if you're in World 3, you're maybe hitting multi-kill on those. So you can actually stockpile a few there. Once you're in World 3, multi-kill comes into effect and you're able to farm those mobs, sell those to the shopkeepers and try to get some money that way. But yeah, money is a big hindrance early game. Resources less so. I mean, multi-kill is not going to be huge, but I mean, you're going to get 2 sticks as opposed to 1, which is rather huge for someone who's early. As always, when you progress the world, unlocking the stamps during the world progress is going to be huge for you. Trying to complete the pig quest whenever you can, trying to unlock the stamps as you progress is going to be huge. Honestly, going back doing Papua Pigea is probably going to help you. The total damage here is actually going to be relatively decent. So if you can go back, try to finish the quest from Papua Pigea. Also will allow you to get the crystalline stamp for crystal spawn chance. Crystal mobs will give you, if you have the damage to kill them, that is, give you some extra money as well. So if you manage to spawn one in the 1,000 mobs that you kill, it's going to be okay money. Just a little bit of additional money you can get. You're missing a little bit of carry capacity. Obviously, you don't have the stamp exception that the Jade Emporium actually gives you. Trying to quest focus on my shirt. Oh yeah, that's right. This is a journeyman account. You don't have the stamp exception that the Jade Emporium gets you, so you actually are like level capped, so to speak, on some of these, some of the carry capacity and the scaling efficiency stamps. So upgrading them is actually less efficient right now. Once you get to World 6 at like a month or 2 down the line, the cap kind of goes away. You actually get a decent amount of scaling efficiency bonus from the stamps as well. But overall, I think you progress the stamps as much as you can right now. It's just money is a big issue. So trying to sell monster materials whenever you can. I was gonna say, and just progressing the world naturally is going to give you money percent, or just money generally. So not necessarily something you need to worry about. But if you're an early game account, again, stamps and alchemy, as always, at any stage of the game is a great thing to focus on. If you have the resources, I recommend trying to upgrade these. Liquid is a big issue for those early game, but upgrading your stat bubble is actually going to give you a decent amount of accuracy, actually. So if you're struggling with accuracy, upgrading your substat is going to give you decent accuracy. Your Squire, the damage scales off of your refinery talent, but you have to have 1.5x accuracy to actually get that damage bonus. So if you're struggling for damage, remember to upgrade the substat on your character, on the Squire specifically, to get the damage bonus. So that we Wisdom, trying to upgrade this, Leash Logs, trying to get this is going to help you a little bit there. I know you probably don't struggle, but this is for other people. The multiplier bubble here, remember the spore cap here is relatively low, but actually gives you a decent damage bonus. Rather, at this point, skilling efficiency bonus, you're not getting a ton of damage from this. It also increases your FMJ, the defense that you get. Actually very, very, very easy. But it's mostly the skilling efficiency is what you're going for at this point in the game. I think you just need high prints. The higher prints you get means you can upgrade your tool and equipment more on your characters. Also, never mind. Dennis, on your account, these bubbles are going to mean nothing to you because you're journeyman specific, so don't worry about it. But for everyone else who's progressing normally, remember these bubbles, Warrior's Rule, Archer Bust, Mage's Best, these are actually pretty good. For Dennis, this is completely useless because his characters are all beginners. They don't get the bonuses from these bubbles, so it makes zero reason for you to actually upgrade these. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyways, if you're early game, something you really need to focus on is going to be FMJ and accuracy. Dennis, not you specifically. You're on beginner characters, so I mean your luck stat is going to give you a ton of accuracy. That's what I'm looking for. Beginners don't have necessarily struggles with accuracy, but if you're early game and you're playing the game normally, accuracy and FMJ are really huge. The only problem is that it takes fruit flies and bloaches. Some of the big issues for early game accounts is getting a high print of these. With the introduction of Owl and Fisheroo, you can actually get some decent skilling efficiency for these. Catching, not so much, but bloaches specifically. Fisheroo is going to give you fishing efficiency and AFK gains, which can help with your prints. Archer Bust no, Archer Bust does nothing. Archer Bust is nothing if you're a beginner character, because it only impacts Archer-based characters. Beginners, not Archer-based, so you get no bonus from Archer or Bust. You still get bonuses from Big Meaty Claws and Quick Slap and Name I Guess, but you just don't get the multiplier from Archer Bust, Warrior's Rule, or Mage's Best. These have no impact on the character. That's why the damage is relatively low on them. But, I mean, anyways, Dennis is playing the game very weirdly. But if you're early game, like I said, FMJ, accuracy, really huge bubbles. These are huge for giving you defense so you can survive the world and try to push it. Accuracy is going to give you good accuracy so you can push the world. Again, since Dennis is playing the game weirdly, honestly, these aren't really that important for him. These are still important, just less important because you don't get the bonuses from the class-specific the class-specific cauldron thing, but also accuracy is less of an issue for beginner characters. Second bubble in Alchemy only helps specific class. Yes, if you read this here, Warrior's Rule only works on warrior-based classes. So if you're on a Blood Berserker or DK Late, if you're on a, Barbarian and Squire, these multiply all, with exceptions, all these smaller bubbles. If you're on an Archer-based class, the Bowman or the Hunter, or late game, the Beastmaster and the Siegebreaker, this multiplies all the other smaller bubbles, again, with exception. And the Mage class is the Elemental Sorcerer or Bubo for the Purple Cauldron. There is no beginner multiplier for the Kazam Cauldron. The continuity there doesn't impact these Kazam Cauldrons. The beginner classes get 0 multiplier bonuses, with exception to Severe Purple, Premagreen, and Bolt Orange. But yeah, these are class-specific bubbles. So upgrading them on a beginner-only account is useless. Anyways, if you're playing the game normally and you have a normal class setup of the warriors and mix of the archers and mages, these bubbles are really, really important. Just Dennis less so because he has a beginner-only account, which I don't recommend doing. For this specific reason, you don't get the multiplier here, so your skilling efficiency is ass. Anyways, moving on. As always, a goal at any point in the game is try to progress Alchemy. For Dennis, it's going to be a little bit harder because he doesn't have a Shaman to do so. The Shaman's Bubble Breakthrough talent, which he doesn't have, actually helps unlock the bubbles at a much easier rate. Remember, the Bubble Breakthrough talent that you get for Shaman gives you an easier chance at unlocking bubbles. So don't upgrade bubbles on just any character. Specifically do it on your Shaman class. That'll make progressing Alchemy much, much, much easier. And always, as you're progressing the world, don't forget to unlock vials. You have daily attempts, and if you're not using those daily attempts, you're being a little inefficient about it. There are some that are more important than others, and yes, you can unlock these out of order. You don't have to do it in the order that the shop recommends. You can do it literally any order. I would recommend trying to go for weapon power early. Try to do some accuracy early. If you're struggling with accuracy, that is. Try to upgrade them. Don't forget you can upgrade them to get you higher bonuses. But weapon power here, pretty good. The material cost for stamps is hugely important. Worship tower defense points. Early game can be helpful to get you extra waves. Again, the mining efficiency, refinery cycle speed. There's a ton of things here. I recommend using IE to look at these, or Wiki even. Shout out to Sheepy. Looking at Wiki to see some of the vials, because some of them are more important than others. For example, the Bob Joe Pickle does literally nothing, so you don't have to unlock it. Things like Alchemy bubble upgrade costs can actually be a little bit detrimental to you, depending on what point you are in the game. What else? What else is not that good? Dennis, if you're looking for money, doing bean slices can actually get you more money. So this is early game, one of the earlier sources of money percent that you can actually get. It's rather decent. You can grind out the beans here for a little bit more money if you are able to. I mean, you can go back to World 1, try to get this, upgrade this. This file is going to be relatively good for you. Don't worry about this. If you're not kind of at the mid-end of World 6, I would not recommend touching sigils at all. Plus, Dennis, you can't even progress. You're not even World 4 anyways. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah. If you're at World 3 and you're worrying about what to upgrade in Salt Lick, what I always recommend is the sample. Trying to get higher samples for 3D printer is always a must. There is a cap in the game of 90%. You can go to the construction tool, see what your character's percent is at. If it's less than 90%, recommend trying to get it up to 90% as soon as possible, because it's a huge multiplier to your 3D prints. So if you're struggling for doing 3D prints, upgrading the 3D print sample is going to be huge. Also, equipping Royal Sampler on your characters, if you have the prayer, is going to help you a ton. It does say minus all EXP, but it's an additive bonus, so it's going to reduce it by like 0.7, whatever it says, instead of like a huge multiplier. So don't worry about the minus it actually gives you. Just equip it on your character so you get the 90%. 90% is important above all else. Saying you don't have blue salts, never mind. Don't worry about it. You don't have Salt Lick, but when you do unlock Salt Lick, this print sample is going to be huge for your account. This is less important. Refinery speed is actually pretty huge, so trying to get this. The max talent level is also huge. When you get there, it's going to be pretty good. The points earned during tower defense, also really good if you're trying to push tower defense. This is pretty big. Down at like the bottom of the list, bottom of the tier list, the multi-kill, the total damage, the liquid rate and capacity. Early game, getting this like 10, 20 levels is useful, but if you are getting into the thousands to hundreds of thousands of resource cost for this on the Mousies, don't recommend upgrading it until you're able to sustain that. The Dune Souls, the class and skill EXP is not really that great. Yeah. Obals is, I mean, you don't need to worry about the Obal storage slots this early in the game. Death Note is not something I would recommend you grind out if you're early in the game. I think it's something you need to come back to. Eventually, when you unlock V-Man, it becomes more important, so you can get higher 3D prints. Trying to get the Death Note to higher levels, like the White Skulls, the even Platinum Skulls early is going to help a ton. But obviously, doing the V-Man quest is going to get you in that mindset where Death Note becomes more and more important for the world. Because this gives you the multi-kill that's effective for every single mob in the world, and on a V-Man speedrun makes it a lot easier to push the portals. Yeah. Shrines, this is just slow progression when you're in the early game, but don't forget the bonuses you actually get here are relatively huge. The damage here, the max HP and defense, the carry capacity is pretty good. Once you get drop rate, it's going to help. The EXP gain's okay. Crystal and giant spawn chance. The giant spawn chance is huge, so you can get more gems and more candies every single week. The crystals, obviously, just for more monies, and for statue farming. If you are able to Onyx statue, having the shrine leveled up is going to be huge. But again, just the damage and the max HP is going to be really, really important for your early game. Remember, you can use this, put the shrines in the world that you're on, rather in the map that you're on, just to get you the extra damage and HP on your characters. Early game, it's really important to try to unlock your 3D printer up to the character slots that you have and prep. If you are able to create new characters soon, try to get the 3D printer slots for this. To upgrade this, just gives you the extra slots for your characters when you do unlock them. So it's not necessary for you to do this right now because you don't have 8 characters. You're just kind of prepping for it. It's not terrible, but you could use that building slot for other things, provided you have the resources or materials for them. And honestly, you're just missing out on resources. Early game, if you are able to, when you do unlock blue slots, Cost Cruncher is going to be huge because it reduces the material cost for the other buildings in construction. So Cost Cruncher is like S tier. Try to upgrade it whenever you can. Really, really important. Obviously, you're going to be kind of salt locked for a while, but this Cost Cruncher is really, really important for construction as you progress the other buildings. So you don't have to rely on having higher prints or whatnot. It helps reduce the entry to upgrading some of the buildings in construction. Atom Collider is something you don't need to worry about early game. This is something you come back to when you're early World 6, mid World 6. Atom Collider is going to come into effect way, way later. But getting the stamp decreaser is not terrible. You can probably get these earlier things at level 1. Lithium is going to be the only thing you really should focus on early game, because upgrading the bubbles through No Bubble Left Behind later is going to be pretty good. And No Bubble Left Behind is a mechanic that's introduced in World 4. Really, with the event, you have it unlocked. But if you didn't do the event, World 4 is going to be where it's introduced, and Lithium actually takes good effect. So, honestly, if you're at the point where you've unlocked Atom Collider, if you have 20 or 37 atoms, these first 3, getting these to level 1 are going to be pretty good. But by no means should you look at Atom Collider. It's more of a late game type thing. If you're at World 3, the big goal is to try to get to World 4 and get on the Lab and Divinity grind. Is to get on the Lab and Divinity grind. Getting to World 4 is going to unlock Cooking. Cooking is very slow. Breeding is very slow. Lab is very slow. World 4 is just a very slow world. So just, see my camera's glitching. Just getting it to a point, getting your account to a point where you can get to World 4, start progressing some of the World 4 mechanics, and eventually get to World 5 and push those mechanics is kind of the short-term goal. So min-maxing your defense, luck, and a little bit of damage is going to help you push the world. And getting to World 4 as soon as possible, and then eventually World 5 as soon as possible to unlock those slow late-game grinds is going to be very important for your account. But never forget the big early-game things you can progress, such as going to be Stamps and Alchemy. As always, at any point in the game, Stamps and Alchemy are huge for your account. Don't neglect them. Getting stats at any point in the game, getting accuracy at any point in the game, getting damage, defense, that kind of stuff at any point in the game is going to be huge for your account progress. And don't forget to kind of min-max food. If you're struggling for HP, remember you can equip food on your characters. Doing a mix of 2 foods is actually better than 1, because if you have 2 foods on your character, there's a weird bug in the game where it counts you as having higher survivability than you do. So when you go AFK, having 2 foods on your character is going to count a ton for survivability. Can you unlock the bubbles for worlds you haven't reached yet in Alchemy? Yes, there's no cap on how far you can progress it. In fact, you can pre-unlock the World 7 and World 8 bubbles. There's no effect. Those bubbles aren't even implemented, so you get nothing from them. But you can pre-unlock them when the world unlocks. So, just fun fact. So, Dennis, right now, for you specifically, you're trying to do the skill grind to unlock Maestro on your characters. I mean, I honestly don't know how to min-max a V-Man only account or beginner only account. So that's up to you, man. I have no specific advice for you. This is more so for everyone else actually progressing the world. But honestly, I think you messed up by just getting some of these past level 5 for the No Bubble Left Behind territory. But as always, upgrading Lotto skill is going to help with your damage specifically because of luck and accuracy. Obviously, getting more drop rate is going to help a little bit. I don't know, these base damage bubbles might help you a little bit. I think you get more movement speed on V-Man than you do the other characters. I think there's a talent for it. But this is going to help you with damage. Quick Slap's going to help a little bit because you can actually get higher. No Bubble Left Behind. Sorry, that's right. There was a lot of changes to where No Bubble Left Behind hits on level 2, so you kind of mess these up. But Quick Slap is actually going to help you a little bit with damage if you're struggling. I imagine damage is going to become a little bit of an issue, but unlocking Bojack, Matty Stafford, this stuff's going to help with damage as well. So, Nightmare, No Bubble Left Behind on the node in Lab actually does specifically say at level 5, but there was a recent update to where it actually did impact some bubbles that were below level 5. So, I don't know if that was the Sacred Methods pack or if that was the event, but something made it to where if it's at above level 1, actually can get hit by No Bubble Left Behind, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, Dennis, I have no specific advice for you, but if you're an early game character, I always recommend using your resources for stamps, as always, for base damage, HP, defense. Every minor increase that you get there is going to help a ton with you progressing the world. And also, don't forget the owl mechanic is immensely huge for you progressing the world. Not only does it give you damage, it also gives you all stat, which means you get more accuracy out of it. Fisheroo also gives you AFK gains, which helps you passively push the worlds. It also gives you, I think, accuracy. It's going to help a ton. It gives you fishing efficiency, which, going back to the bloach print, is actually going to help you progress, get a higher bloach print to get you more accuracy levels. Kangaroo also gives you, what else does it give? It gives you defense as well. So if you're struggling for defense, Fisheroo is actually a pretty good bonus, which IE doesn't show, so I can't really show his bonuses there. But those clicker mechanics are immensely huge for early game players, so don't neglect those. Really, really important for your account. So, Dennis, since you're early game, there's not much for me to talk about except for the stuff to come. Lab, honestly, is going to be a very slow grind. Just get your characters up to Killer Brightside so you get the 2x kills. For anyone trying to push World 3 and get into World 4, the Lab grind, level up your characters in Lab to get to Killer Brightside. This node is hugely important. You should try to light up the wired-in nodes for the 2x prints, the refinery cycles for 3x refinery, the No Bubble Left Behind, and Killer Brightside. Those are hugely important. The damage you get here for the animal farm is not necessarily that huge. Sigils, don't even need to worry about this. Like I said, this is more of a late game mechanic. The most important thing is trying to push World 4 to get to World 5. That's why Killer Brightside is so important. Okay, we'll stop the review there. Dennis, good luck on your beginner-only account. Hopefully this is a good insight of what you should be focusing on if you're early game. Remember, Owl, Fisheroo, Stamps, Alchemy are really, really huge. Upgrading your gear whenever you can and have the resources to is always trying to get higher prints so you can upgrade your tools. Always really, really important. Don't forget, one more thing. Dungeons. Doing happy hour, trying to use your boosted runs. Dennis, get on this on your alt account. Doing your boosted runs for weapon power, talent points, for defense, accuracy, AFK gains. Those are huge for your account. Also, monster cash. If you're struggling for money, here you go. Here you can level this 29 more times. Cool. Okay, well, Dennis, happy hour. Go do it. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. This is a shorter review, but hopefully this helps orient you if you're an early game account, what to look forward to, what is necessarily more important than other things. Hopefully this helps. Again, if you have any questions specifically, reach out in the comments or in the Discord. If you have any questions, I'm sure other people can help you as well. So thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one. Bye.